Okay, the next item is an update from CNSC staff on the Mount Polley tailing dam bridge as outlined in CMD 14 M66, and it's still Mr. Newland. Go ahead, please.
It's still me. So, good evening. Mr. President and members of the Commission, for the record, my name is Dave Newland, Acting Director General of DNCFR. With me today are Mr. Jean Leclerc, Director Uranium Mines and Mills Division, Don Howard, Director Waste and Decommissioning Division, and we have assorted other people behind us to help with the presentation on questions should they arise. CNSC were requested to provide a summary of the actions taken by CNSC staff and licensees in response to the event at Mount Polley, and this is our update. Just in summary, CNSC licensees have responded to an information request that CNSC staff sent with respect to conducting verification inspections and confirmed that the above-ground tailings management facilities are stable and safe. The CNSC staff will continue to conduct compliance verification activities as part of our baseline compliance program to confirm safety at the sites moving forward. Next. So first I'd like to provide a sort of timeline and a little bit of a description about the Mount Polley mine. Mount Polley is an open-pit copper gold mine located in south-central British Columbia. A tailings breach at the tailings pond occurred on August the 4th, 2014, when approximately 10 million cubic meters of water and 4.5 million cubic meters of slurry were released into Polley Lake and surrounding waters. And we'll have a diagram of that in the next slide. I'd like to further note that the British Columbia provincial government initiated in August an independent engineering investigation and inquiry into the tailings breach. The investigation report is due to be completed January 2015, and at that time, staff and licensees will evaluate the findings to determine any lessons learned for the uranium mines tailings facilities, and at that time we would make a decision as to whether to come back and update you further. This figure shows two NASA aerial photographs, one taken on July the 24th and the second taken on August the 5th. To give you a sense of the magnitude of this breach, you can see that in the left-hand corner of the photos, there's an indication of a 1 kilometer scale. The breach can be seen towards the top of on the right-hand photo, can be seen towards the top of the retention basin, which is in the lower part of the photo, with breached material shown in sort of a white-grey kind of a format. And you can see that it has progressed into Polley Lake, Hazeltine Creek, which is down to the right, and then entering into Kesnel Lake also. And that was taken on August the 5th. Next, please. So this depicts an overall timeline of the event occurring on August the 4th, our request on August the 14th for written for responses from the licensees, All of the licensees had responded by September the 15th, which was as requested in our letter. And here we are today updating you on October the 1st. As a part of the continuous learning philosophy, the CNSC expects licensees to review lessons learned from other events and incidents, both nuclear and non-nuclear. So on August the 14th, CNSC requested our licensees with above-ground tailings management areas to take the following actions. First, review the cause of the breach and confirm the safety case for the facility. Second, confirm that inspections and monitoring as required in the License Conditions Handbook have been completed. 3, confirm mitigation measures are in place if necessary. And fourthly, report any identified gaps. On September the 15th, all licensees had responded confirming that their facilities are operated as designed, their safety cases remain valid, and that no gaps have been identified. They also confirmed that geotechnical inspections are completed as required by the license and by the License Conditions Handbook. In addition, CNSC staff have conducted independent inspections to confirm that the above-ground facilities are in stable and safe condition, and we have concluded that the risk of dam failure for these facilities is very low. CNSC staff will continue to verify compliance through our independent review of the geotechnical reports and by conducting independent inspections of above-ground facilities and the associated sites. The remainder of staff's presentation will be divided into 2 parts. The first will be to provide information on active uranium mines and mill facilities located in northern Saskatchewan, and the second on closed historic uranium areas located in Elliott Lake and Bancroft, Ontario. I will now turn the presentation over to Mr. Jean Leclerc to talk about the above-ground tailings management areas in Saskatchewan.
Thank you, Mr. Newland. My name is Jean Leclerc, and I'm the Director of the Uranium Mines and Mills Division. Before I proceed with the discussion on the above-ground tailings management areas in northern Saskatchewan, just quickly go over CNSC requirements with regards to tailings dams. This first slide provides an overview of CNSC requirements for uranium tailings dam that are currently in use at both operating uranium mines and decommissioned mines. Any retaining structure to be used at a nuclear facility must meet the requirements set out in the Nuclear Safety Control Act, the regulations, and the supporting regulatory documents. The tailings management facilities, including tailings dams, are reviewed as part of the safety analysis that is conducted at each of the stages of licensing, going from initial site preparation and construction, moving through operations, and into final decommissioning and long-term monitoring and maintenance. In specific reference to tailings dams, the safety case will examine the long-term performance requirements of the tailings dam to address both normal and upset conditions, such as major precipitation events. The safety case sets out the design objectives and performance criteria for the tailings dam. More specifically, tailings dams are expected to be designed and constructed to meet the best practices as defined by the Canadian Dam Association. During operations, all licensees are required to have independent geotechnical inspections of their tailings dams. These are done by qualified professionals, either from engineering consulting firms or the licensee's corporate offices. The inspection reports are submitted to CNSC staff for a review and follow-up as required. In addition, CNSC staff inspect tailings dams during routine inspections supported by geotechnical experts. The picture on the right shows a typical tailings dam, while the diagram on the bottom right is an example of the design of a tailings dam at a tailings management area in Elliott Lake. This next slide focuses on the current situation for our tailings management areas with tailings dams that are located in Saskatchewan. There are 3 facilities with above-ground TMAs: Key Lake Operations, Rabbit Lake, and finally Clough Lake. The Rabbit Lake and Key Lake above-ground TMAs are currently operating uranium mining and milling sites, while the above-ground tailings management area at Clough Lake is at a decommissioned mine and mill site. None of these above-ground facilities are currently receiving tailings. They do not have water covers and are regularly inspected by both qualified professionals and CNSC inspectors. In response to the incident at Mount Polley, CNSC staff conducted an assessment of the risk of similar event occurring in uranium mines and mills in northern Saskatchewan. This included revisiting the geotechnical reports submitted by the licensee as required by the License and License Conditions Handbooks, reviewing groundwater and piezometer data, and conducting independent inspections. These inspections included a walk-down plus review of licensee geotechnical reports for 2012 and 2013, and verbal communication on the 2014 report, and review of groundwater and piezometer reports. As a result of these assessments, CNSC staff conclude the risk of dam failure is very low. In response to the CNSC request, Cameco and Riva provided a detailed response. The licensees confirmed that the safety cases remain valid. Operations, inspections, and monitoring have been conducted in compliance with the License Conditions Handbook and the license. The geotechnical inspections have been completed on the defined intervals. The tailings designs differ. It's important to note the tailings designs differ significantly from that at Mount Polley, as the tailings are dewatered, consolidated, and there is no water cover. The other thing that may be worth noting is the size of the dam in Mount Polley is seen numbers of 34-meter high tailings dam elevations, while the dams in the currently operating mines, I believe the tallest is about 15 meters, so half the height. The review determined that there were no major gaps identified. The TMAs are operating as designed and the safety case remains valid. The licensee also has conducted regular inspections and completed their monitoring programs. The TMAs continue to operate safely. So going now from a site-by-site basis, the Key Lake above-ground TMA was in operation from 1983 to 1996. The tailings are dewatered and consolidated, as I mentioned previously. As you can see in the photo, there's no water cover. This is at the top right corner. There's a picture there. You can see the tailings there. As a result of the Mount Polley incident, a dedicated inspection of the above-ground TMA was conducted on September 2nd and 3rd by CNSC staff. The inspection supported the geotechnical report conclusions that the TMA remains stable with a low risk of failure. The Rabbit Lake above-ground TMA was in operation from 1975 to 1985. The tailings also are dewatered and consolidated. As you can see in the photo on the bottom right, there is no water cover. There is a bit of water that's visible, but it's actually associated with slight accumulations from precipitation. This water is actively managed by seasonal pumping. Annual geotechnical inspections are completed by qualified professionals from the corporate office as per the requirements in the License Conditions Handbook. CNSC staff review the results of these annual inspections. Regular inspections and monitoring have been completed by Cameco and independently verified by CNSC staff. As a result of the Mount Polley incident, a dedicated inspection on the above-ground tailings management area was conducted on August 11 and 13th by CNSC staff. The inspection supported the geotechnical report conclusions that the TMA remains stable with a very low risk of failure. The Clough Lake above-ground tailings management area was in operation from 1981 to 2002. The tailings are dry, dewatered, consolidated, and as the Clough Lake facility is decommissioned, an engineered vegetative till cover has been installed, as you can see in the picture here. The vegetation has established well on the TMA and is functioning as designed. As you can see in the photo, there is no water cover. Biannual, so every second year, geotechnical inspections are completed by a qualified professional as per regulatory requirements. CNSC staff review the results of these inspections and the reports. Regular inspections and monitoring have been completed by AREVA and independently verified by CNSC staff. As a result of the Mount Polley incident, a dedicated inspection on the above-ground TMA was conducted on August 26th by CNSC staff. The inspection supported the geotechnical report conclusions that the TMA remains stable with a low risk of failure. I'll now turn the presentation over to Don Howard, who will talk about the decommissioned historic tailings management areas in Ontario.
Thank you. For the record, Don Howard, Director of the Waste and Decommissioning Division. I will start with Elliott Lake. There are 12 decommissioned uranium mine sites with 10 uranium tailings management areas, or TMAs, in and around Elliott Lake. All of the Elliott Lake uranium mines were brought into production between 1955 and 1958. By 1970, 5 of the mines had been shut down, and by 1992, most had ceased operations. Decommissioning of all of the Elliott Lake uranium mines was completed by the end of 1999. All of the sites have been fully decommissioned, with all mine features capped or blocked, all facility structures demolished, and all sites landscaped and revegetated. The Bancroft area, the uranium tailings management areas in Bancroft exist at the decommissioned Madawaska, Dino, and Bycroft mines near Bancroft. These mines operated between 1956 and 1964. Madawaska was reopened from 1976 till 1982 before being decommissioned under an ACB decommissioning license. The third location in Ontario is Agnew Lake, which is located near Sudbury, Ontario. The mine operated between 1978 and 1983 under an AECB license. Decommission followed closure. So now I'll concentrate on Elliott Lake. Rio Algom Limited is responsible for 9 decommissioned mine sites and their associated TMAs, while Denison Mines Incorporated is responsible for 3 decommissioned mine sites and their TMAs. In Elliott Lake, the TMAs use a mixture of dry and wet cover. 4 of the TMAs are engineered with dry covers, and vegetation has been established over the tailings at all of these sites. Photo 1 shows an aerial view of the Pronto site, which is dry covered tailings. The other 5 TMAs are water covered and require ongoing water treatment. Photo 2 shows an aerial view of the Quirk TMA, which is water covered tailings. In response to the CNSC requests, Rio Algom and Denison provided detailed responses. The TMAs are operating as designed, and the safety case remains valid. The licensee conducted regular inspections. The spillways are visually checked on a daily basis. The dams are visually checked on a monthly basis. In accordance with their licenses, all TMAs are inspected annually by the licensee's geotechnical consultants. The resultant geotechnical reports are reviewed by CNSC staff. No items of concern exist. Any of the consultants' recommendations are implemented by the licensee. The facilities continue to operate safely. In addition, Denison and Rio Algom sites conform to the Canadian Dam Association requirements for a 7-year dam safety review by an independent third party. The dam safety review is a systematic review and evaluation of all aspects of design, construction, maintenance, operation, and other factors, processes, and systems affecting a dam safety. These reports are submitted to the CNSC, and the latest one was in 2014. CNSC staff's review have not raised any concerns. CNSC also ensures compliance through annual baseline compliance inspections of all aspects of these closed facilities. CNSC geotechnical specialists inspect the dams at the decommissioned Elliott Lake sites every 3 years. The most recent was completed in August 2014. There are no outstanding compliance issues at any of these sites. Therefore, CNSC staff confirm that the tailings management facilities in the Elliott Lake area are stable and safe. Bancroft. All of the TMAs at these sites are vegetated and covered tailings, meaning there is no water cover. In response to CNSC requests, the licensees, consisting of EWL Management Limited and Barrick Gold Corporation, responded to CNSC request. The tailings management facilities are operated as designed and the safety case remains valid. The licensees conduct regular inspections during the spring, summer, and fall. The dams are visually checked on a monthly basis. In accordance with their licenses, all TMAs are inspected by the licensee's geotechnical consultants. Any of the consultants' recommendations are implemented by the licensee. The resultant geotechnical reports are reviewed by CNSC staff, and no items of concern have been raised. The facilities continue to operate safely. CNSC also ensures compliance through annual baseline compliance inspections of all aspects of these closed facilities. CNSC geotechnical specialists inspect the dams at the decommissioned Bancroft site every 3 years. The next scheduled inspection will be this month in October 2014. CNSC staff confirmed that the tailings management facility in the Bancroft area remains stable and safe. Agnew Lake, which is operated by the Ministry of Northern Development and Mines, is located near Sudbury, Ontario. The mine operated between 1978 and 1983, and then it was decommissioned after that. One TMA exists. It has a low-lying, dry, vegetated cover with one dam and a low retention structure downstream to ensure that in the unlikely event of a failure, tailings will be contained adjacent to their current location. The Ontario Ministry of Northern Development and Mines responded to the CNSC request by September 15th. The tailings management area is operating as designed and the safety case remains valid. The dams are visually checked on an annual basis. In accordance with their license, the TMA is inspected every 5 years by the licensee's geotechnical consultants. Any of the consultants' recommendations are implemented by the licensee. The resultant geotechnical reports are reviewed by CNSC staff and no items of concern have been identified. The site continues to operate safely. CNSC staff also ensures compliance through the annual baseline compliance inspection. CNSC geotechnical specialists inspect the dam at the decommissioned Agnew Lake site every 3 years, with the most recent geotechnical inspection occurring in August 2014, and no outstanding compliance issues were identified. Therefore, CNSC staff confirmed that the tailings management area at the Agnew Lake site is stable and safe. I will now turn the presentation back to Mr. Newland.
Thank you, Don. So to conclude, as part of continuous improvement, the CNSC expects licensees to review other events and incidents such as these, and this is why we requested information from our licensees. Licensees have provided that information by the due date. CNSC staff have concluded that the risk of dam failure is very unlikely due to strict engineering requirements and rigorous regulatory oversight. CNSC staff will continue to verify compliance through regular review of geotechnical reports and follow up on the recommendations and regular inspections of the tailing facilities. That concludes staff's presentation, and we're available to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you.